Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to We Call Bank. I don't know what episode this is. We're trying to get more consistent. I'm trying to get a better camera. That way we can have two angles. I don't know what we're going to be doing, but we're going to be talking about three things. Number one. All right, I guess I'll do it. Number one. Stefon Diggs.
Okay.
Stefon Diggs. We're going to be talking about him kind of throwing a little bit of a diss at Josh Allen, but the guy that made the tweet was kind of dissing Diggs in the same light. So, there's a little bit of cushion there. We're going to be talking about Bronny James declaring for the draft. I don't know what it means. I guess it means if he doesn't get drafted, he can still go back to college. I don't know. I thought back in the day, if you declare for the draft, you couldn't go back to college. I don't know if that's something that changed, but I thought that's how it worked. I thought, if you declared, you were basically giving up your college eligibility. But I don't know how it works now, so that's all I know. And then he wants to talk about 2K for some reason. I haven't played the game in 4 months, but I guess we'll talk about it. So starting it off, Stefon Diggs. So pretty much somebody tweeted out saying that talking about Josh Allen, how basically the way he said it was saying that he's going to be just fine without Diggs, that he didn't need him, and kind of like he didn't need him in the first place, like he was going to be fine. And Diggs tweeted back saying, what, really? Or what did he tweet out exactly? My phone's dead, so I don't have the exact tweet, but pretty much. Yeah.
CS at the Peaky Pirate said, "Does Josh benefit from having a top tier receiver? Yes. Is he essential to his success? No." And then Diggs at Stefon Diggs replied with, "You sure?" ?
Listen, I was a Diggs fan, all right? I picked him first in fantasy. Actually, yeah, first in fantasy because I was rocking with my dog. And, he did me well for a good bit of the season. But I don't really like the disrespect coming at Josh Allen. This is your quarterback. You left Minnesota. You went to the Bills. You weren't expecting much. I mean, you didn't really know if y'all had a quarterback in Josh Allen or not. He comes in, plays really well, force feeds you the ball. You cry about not getting the ball. So then he force feeds you the ball. And now you're throwing disses at him, which we don't really know what happens in the locker room. We don't know if they got beef, if Josh says so. We don't really know. All right? All we know is what we know. So I just think it's crazy to say that. I mean, I think the tweet, in my opinion, is going to be truthful. I don't think he needs Diggs to be a top quarterback, and I think Curtis Samuel is pretty good. Not that he's on any level of these top receivers, but I think he's going to be their number one. Maybe they draft somebody, maybe they don't. But I think Curtis Samuel's pretty good, in my opinion. But I think Diggs is kind of on that downhill slope. He gets traded to the Texans. They void the next 3 years of his contract, move $4 or $5 million guaranteed to this year. So he's on a 1 year deal, a prove it deal. If he plays really good, maybe the Texans re-sign him or he goes somewhere else for a big deal. But me personally, when he got traded, I texted the group and I was like, well, I hope he's fine with being the number 2 because I don't think he's going to be the number 1. That's just me. Tank Dell, he's coming back from injury, so we don't really know what he's going to be like when he gets back. But what's the other dude's name?
Nico Collins.
I think Collins is going to stay that kind of number 1. Him and Tank Dell were kind of going back and forth. But I think Nico was for sure the number 1, and Tank Dell's the deep speed threat. He might end up with more yards. But Collins is kind of the one taking away pressure off of Dell, I still feel like. But I don't know. I feel like he's not going to get as many targets as he wants, and it might blow up in the Texans' face. But I could be wrong. You got any opinions?
I don't know. Here's the thing. When he first off, we are sponsored by Monster today.
We're not.
Anyways,
Red Bull, hit me up.
So first off, when he had texted that group chat and he said number 2, I said bold because at the end of the day, this is Stefon Diggs. He still had over 1,000 yards. Like he said, Josh Allen did force feed him. I mean, everybody can see that, bro.
Which you should. Your best receiver, you should give them the ball more than anybody else.
Yeah. But the thing is now that I think about it while he was talking about it, because, I mean, at the end of the day, do I look at Stefon Diggs not just because of his whole career, but do I look at Stefon Diggs right now and say, is he better than Nico? I think so. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big Stefon Diggs fan, but I think so.
If I'm ranking him on the season, if you're just doing a tier list now, I agree. Diggs it's not a question if he's better. Off of the last season, for sure he's better. But going into the future, I don't see that being the case. But
well, then whenever he was talking about it, I started thinking, and he said Tank Dell coming back, which is true. And like he said, it was very inconsistent on who was the number one just because Tank Dell would have a big game and then Nico would have a big game. And then Tank Dell would have a big game, Nico. And then all of a sudden, thank God, at the end of the season, whenever, Tank Dell was, having his whole injury and everything like that, Dalton Schultz came through. You know what I'm saying? He started having some big games. But I think right now CJ just targets one player specifically a game. It's looking like that's what I was looking at it like, because that's what I was afraid of, because I had both Tank Dell and Nico whenever I had fantasy, and it was like you didn't know which week to put which one in. So I failed each week. And the other one always seemed to pop off. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Stefon could easily be the number one in that team, but it's just going to depend on the chemistry between him and CJ. Now, as far as Josh Allen, I ain't gonna lie, dog. I think it's gonna be a little bit tougher for him this year. I'm not okay. I mean,
I don't think so. The last 6 games when they needed to win, they were winning games. Was Diggs on the field? I think he was on the field for 5 of the last 6 games. He wasn't getting the ball, and they were winning regardless. Kincaid showed up. They still got Dawson Knox. I don't know if they're going to keep both of them or not. I think Kincaid is the better player, and I think he should be the starter. But there's no reason not to have both of them around. What's his name? Shakir or whatever. He started coming in strong. He started having some pretty, he started having a couple 100-yard games there at the end, I think. So I don't think they're as bad off as people say. Like I said, Curtis Samuel is probably more of a number 2. Shakir can still stay the number 3 if they re-sign him. I don't know if he's still on the team or not. And then they're in a position where they can draft a decent receiver out of college. So I don't see what the big fuss is about. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Josh Allen is a gunslinger, so regardless, if Diggs ain't getting the yards because he's gone, somebody's going to get the yards. He's still going to throw the ball. So
Missy was here right now. We'd have to censor her because she does not like Josh Allen at all. It's over some weird stuff. She don't like Josh Allen because I think it was like week 1 when they played the Jets, and we were watching the game, and I think like they went into overtime, and I was like, oh yeah, it's over. That's Josh Allen. And I think he ended up not scoring, so they ended up punting it, and then they scored off the punt return to win the game. And then Misty, ever since then, just ain't like Josh Allen. I don't know why she's so weird about that. But me personally, I ain't got a problem with Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen. He's cool. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's still going to be a great quarterback. But, he can run the ball. He can do his thing. He can create plays. But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't think – it's hard to say because I'm not saying that he ain't going to do good. I think he's still going to do good. I do think he's still going to do good. I just think it's especially the first few games especially at the first few games, it's going to be a struggle for him. There's no way they just instantly come and pop off. I mean, at the same time, I thought the same thing when the Chiefs dropped Tyreek.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, bro. Now, I mean, obviously they had Travis, and did they drop Mecole that same year?
He was on the Jets that year, and then they ended up trading for him back, or he got released and they signed something like that.
And so I was like, hey, bro, it's gonna be a little tough. He ain't got no receivers, and then, hey. Patrick did his thing, so maybe Josh Allen could prove his own point. But I think already not being able to go all the way to the Super Bowl with Stefon and Gabe Davis, which I have my own feelings about Gabe Davis just because of fantasy. But hey, it's gonna be a little bit harder with receivers that, one, you're not used to, and two, I don't think are as good or as valuable as the other receivers that you had prior. But I still think he's going to do his thing. He's a dog. He's going to get his yardage. He's going to get some wins. I don't know if they're going to be, in the chip, especially this year.
Yeah, I mean they lost a lot of pieces on offense and defense. Tre'Davious White, they lost a safety too. So who knows what really is going to be there? I think the offense is going to be fine though. I don't see any problems with the offense. Like I said, there was a couple games where Diggs wasn't really getting targeted, and you can say, they were rolling the covers that way. That's why the other receivers were getting open. But I think Josh Allen is good enough to where it's not going to matter who's on the outside. But moving on, Bronny James declares for the draft. Now, I saw something like he's averaging 6 points a game, so I don't know really what the. It's LeBron James' son, so obviously that's why the hype is there. But, I mean, he's kind of a long wing. He's athletic. He can block shots, just like LeBron, pinning him off the backboard. He's got that kind of athleticism. So, I think he's going to be a good defender in the league, regardless if he gets drafted now, which I don't know if he will or not. I don't know why a team wouldn't take a shot on him late because it's LeBron's son. Maybe you get a chance of LeBron wanting to come play his last final year. Ticket sales. You know how these GMs think. So I think he's got a chance to go super late. And I think obviously if he has time to develop and they don't throw him in the game, which who knows, he could be better than we all think, and he's just not really getting the playing time over there at USC. So who knows? But I mean, I don't really got that much to say about it, honestly.
I mean, here's my thing. All right. Thing is he wasn't really doing much at first with USC. Then, and that's the thing. That's what I told Joey. I don't really know much about men's college basketball. I know very little about women's. I know a little bit about women's, but I don't really know much about men's. But from what I had seen, they had given him a chance and made him a starter, and then he still wasn't really doing anything. And then I think he had to go back to the bench or something like that. My thing is, I think it's a smart move. I think it's a really smart move. Because at the end of the day, it says he still has his college eligibility. So if he don't get drafted, he goes back to college. I mean, worst comes to worst, he goes back to college. Thing is he does have hype around him, even with his low-scoring games, all that other stuff. He still has this hype around him. And, Brian had made it notable that before he retired, he wanted to play with his son. So, you basically know for a fact that if you get Bronny, you're going to get LeBron. Or if you get Bronny, you could trade to the team that has LeBron, which is the Lakers, and you can get valuable things from the Lakers. And so one of the other, you get benefits from the thing with Bronny. The reason I think it's a good idea is you see how his freshman year started, and everybody develops. You don't just pop off right off. Some people do, but most of the time you don't just pop off right off. But, right now you have a lot of hype behind you, a lot of eyes on you, and then you didn't really do great your first year. You got a lot of criticism. If you don't do well and you don't take a chance on the draft right now, and then next year and the next and the next, you just say, hey, I'm not even going to try for the draft, and you just continue with college these next 3 years, and you just do worse, or you just stay, teams are probably not going to be looking at you, especially if LeBron gets older or he gets injured, and for some reason he starts, playing worse, which I don't see happening, but at the end of the day, you never know what can happen. That's going to ruin his career. He's going to end up being one of those people that, are just going to have to play in the G League or play at the Big Three or play something like that or play overseas, because even though you are LeBron's son and everything, if you aren't getting the guarantee of a LeBron or getting the guarantee of you're getting points for the team or doing something for the team, people ain't going to pick you up just because you're LeBron's son. You see what I'm saying? But I think, like you said, at the end of the day, he could be a late draft pick. I mean, if I was a GM, I'm picking him third round. If he's still there, some might pick him second. At the end of the day, third round.
Is there even a third round? I thought it was only 2 rounds.
Oh shit, second round.
He picking him undrafted.
Yeah. Hey, that's actually kind of smart too.
If he gets undrafted, he'll probably go somewhere where he knows he can start for sure in college, and go from there. But who knows? You have potential. You have LaMelo not even going to college. These college hoopers could probably go overseas and play pretty well too. So you got LaMelo coming out, and he played pretty good over there. Didn't he play in Australia, I think, before he came to the NBA? Yeah, but he went to Australia to the Pro League, didn't he?
Yeah, but he played in Lithuania.
Before that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, who knows? Like I said, he's got, a good build to be, I feel like, a shooting guard or maybe guard the small forward a little bit. And he's got long arms. I feel like he plays pretty solid defense. Like, he's actually going to hustle and try. He's a little bit athletic, so... And people say, around him that he's a good shooter. So that's really all you need, 3 and D. So I don't know. Me personally, if you want to give him a chance, give him a chance. There's a lot of second-round draft picks that don't end up being anything anyway. There's a lot of first-pick players that don't end up being anything. So if you're in a situation your franchise is respectfully trash right now, why not take a shot at it? Pistons, why not? You know what I'm saying? Go for it.
I was thinking the NFL draft. They got set.
Yeah, no, I was like, bro.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was
I'm
thinking
pretty sure there are only 64 picks.
Yeah, I was starting to think. I was like, bro, what? Am I
Or not
tripping now?
64 picks. It's only 30 teams, right? So 60 picks because Isaiah was. Anyways, yeah. I mean, I hope he does well. I think if he gets drafted, I'll watch it. I'm not opposed to watching it. I think it's an interesting story. Just like when LaMelo came in or Alonzo came in, like these players got hype around them. People are going to start watching the game. People might go to the games to see them play. So if you're a GM, you want to make some money, you want to take a shot at somebody, might as well take a shot at him. See what happens. Anything else?
Speaking of LaMelo, respectfully, it's time to drop the Puma shoe deal, bro. Forget all that, bro. You got too many injuries.
What?
Bro,
it's not even like it's not ankle injuries, is
bro,
it?
I swear he's had.
I think it's a leg injury, but I don't think it's an ankle.
I don't think right now it might not be a leg injury, but I think the first injury that he had this season was an ankle injury, and I think he's already had 3 ankle injuries from his shoes. I swear. Let me look that up.
It don't even matter.
Matter of fact,
then you hurt yours in Curry. So what are we talking about?
No, I hurt mine in LaMelo's. I wore the.
But you hurt him in Curry's too.
No, yeah, I wore the Curry's one time. Never fell in basketball. Never fell. First day I wear my Curry's, I fall. So I was like, all right, I ain't getting Curry's. So then I get the LaMelo's. So then I'm chilling in the LaMelo's. Everything's great. Beyond enjoyable. Next thing I know, I land on it. Bruh, my shoe just wasn't shoeing. And next thing I know, I fractured my ankle. So, LaMelo, that's the first time I've ever been injured playing basketball. All this time. First time I've been injured playing basketball. LaMelo, it's time to drop Puma, bro. Why you even go to Puma, bro? Like, there's Nike. There's
his shoes look, some of them look good. I ain't got no problem with them. I ain't worn them before. I thought about buying them a couple times. I thought about buying Austin Reeves, but I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with what I got. But we're going to be moving on while he checks about this injury history. I don't know what he's going through right now. But anyways, Dallas wants to talk about 2K. I don't know what he has to say about it, so I'm just gonna kick back. Nope.
Listen to me, all right? Here's how I feel about 2K. All these people want to say 2K trash, 2K this, 2K that, all right? Look me in my eyes right now, all right? At the end of the day, what are you doing, bruh?
This is your world. This is your world right now. Go on.
All right. I have a person over here, just like D. His name is AJ, all right? Y'all seen him in episode 1. Talk about 2K trash. All right. I told him, hey, give me a reason 2K trash. He couldn't. All he say, pay to win this, pay to win that. You know what? Almost every game nowadays is pay to win. All right. The only games that ain't pay to win are games that are either single player or games that are like battle pass related. Which, I mean, you can say what you want about that. Me personally, I think it's dorky, but hey, do whatever you got to do. I mean, then again, Valorant is battle pass type stuff. So, I mean, but then again, I'm a dork, so who cares? Anyways, 2K is one of the greatest games to ever be released. And I mean, you can feel however you want to feel about that, but people are sitting here saying, all right, what? People are sitting here saying, all right, here's the thing. It's the same game every year, same thing, blah, blah, blah. It's basketball, bro. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to shoot lightning out of their hands? Do you want them to get up and 360 dunk from behind the backboard? Like, I don't understand what y'all are wanting. Y'all wanted an arcade style game, they gave you an arcade style game. Y'all wanted a realistic game, they gave you a realistic game. Which one do y'all want? What is the problem right now with the people hating on 2K? Because right now, if you ask me, everybody that hates on 2K is just not good at it. That's how I feel about it. I think the people that really are not good at 2K are the ones sitting here saying, 2K's trash, I'm never buying this again. 2K's the worst franchise in the history of all video games. No, bro. Personally, me, I play 2K not much anymore. I ain't gonna cap. But it's not because I'm trash. It's not because I think the game sucks. I love the game. But I feel like the game is more fun when you're playing with friends, and I think that's the problem right now. I think some people, their friends, instance AJ, instance Joey, they just stop playing 2K. So when you ain't got nobody to play with, you got to play with randoms. Guess what happens when you play with randoms? It's the same thing in every single game ever. You play with randoms, you get dumb blockheads that don't know what they're doing, that ruin the game and ruin the whole experience for everybody. They want to just sit here and have violations, have this. What?
Nah, I'll voice my opinion when you get done.
All right. No. Go ahead. What's your opinion? I want to know.
Okay, I'll go. The reason, I'll give you my reason on why I think people say the game is trash now, and why I don't fully agree with them, but I don't fully disagree with them. There's just not as much innovation as far as the games go. I mean, them saying it's the same game every year. Obviously, it's not the exact same game every year. Obviously, the gameplay is going to feel a little different. They might add a couple badges here and there. Might change the attribute system. The attribute system, they need to find the perfect way to separate the positions, because it's too much of a shooting guard and point guards. You're making the same build. They can all be 6'8", 6'9". Like, the point guard needs to be in a height frame where, like, they can't be taller than like 6'4" or something like that. Like, there's an outlier in the NBA. Like, once you get to 6'4", there's not many guards above that height. Luka, LaMelo, Ben Simmons, like, there's not that many point guards above 6'4". So, okay, cool. We got outliers there. Move them to the shooting guard. Shooting guard, okay, fine. Make them go up to 6'8", whatever. Obviously, you got to have mess with the builds to where, like, you can't make the 6'8", 6'7" shooting guards like crazy point guard-esque. So you got to kind of find a happy medium there. But the point guard should feel faster than every other position in the game. You should be able to run by a small forward. You should be able to run by a power forward. You should be able to run by a center. I don't care. No, you should, like, these builds need, the positions need to make sense so that there's some kind of, like, competitive edge to making a team composition, which that's why you have Pro-Am instead of Rec. But there needs to be some kind of competitive edge for these players to want to play the game. That's the problem. There's no drive for people to want to play the game. The rep system, nobody cares about, because there's really no reason to grind it. Like, what are you really getting? There's no reason to grind the season pass. Who cares? Okay, you're getting a badge unlock. Like, there's no real reason. If there's an actual legitimate rank, which is why people like Valorant and these shooter games so much with a really good rank system, because they have some sort of goal to get to. And they can tell, like, when they see a bronze player or when they see a radiant player, they know these people are actually going to be good. You load in the rec game now, you can play against goats, and they're worse than the bronzes you just played last game. So there's really no incentive for them to play the game, to get better at the game. There's no way for them to get better at the game, because there's no place to shoot around with the right latency like you're playing online. There's nowhere to practice. There's nowhere to practice your dribble moves. The Gatorade facility sucks. It's delayed 10 times harder than the rec. Like, there's reasons people hate the game, because there's stuff in the game that's trash. Like, there's literally no way for you to really get better at the game unless, like, you're just forcing yourself to play rec. And if you're playing by yourself, I don't know. There's just a lot of things I don't like about it. They need to move to a system where when you load in rec, you can pick your build too. Just like kind of how Valorant does, where you load in and you pick your agent. You should be able to load in rec, have all your builds on the screen, and be like, okay, these people need a center this game. Let me switch to a center or something. Like, some way to make, there's little things that they could do in the game to make it better. And I think the neighborhood is the last thing they need to be worried about. Slap the same one on, but you need to fix the other stuff in the game. Personally, I don't want to walk to the Adidas store. Personally, I don't want to walk to wherever. I need to be able to click an option when it tells me I need to go to the whatever that gym is you do your hotspots. I want to be able to, like, hit start, hit a button, and it fast travel me right in front of the door, and I can walk in. Like, cool, if we want to keep the city, keep the city. If you want to have Halloween events where I run around trick-or-treating like a 5-year-old, we can do that. We can do that. But there's certain things about the game that are just, like, pointless. And there's so many little things, quality of life things that they could do. And I think the main thing is the rank system. Every game needs a rank system now. Like, if you want some sort of longevity, like, you just have to have something like that for people to chase. Because, okay, cool, I load up the games, I play for a month, I get all my guys fully upgraded, I get the badges I want on them, and that's like, okay, now what? I'm just playing to boundlessly hold square. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
I understand everything you said, and I agree with some of it. To start off, you said that they need the attribute system. Yeah, y'all remember everything he just said. All right, I agreed with you. But then I thought about it. They have that. It's called NBA Live 19, and it flopped.
We're
so
talking
hard.
about 2K.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Other games, that game. First of all, that game is trash. Actually, trash. People make 99% contested shots 99% of the time. People are out here. You run in and you get some crazy contact layup every time. Like, there's no defense in that game at all.
Okay, I'm just saying. the attribute system, that's what NBA Live 19 was about. But I agree with you, though. I really do. I do agree with you. It's just hard for them to do that, though, realistically, because, like you said, there are outliers. Like, for me, I mean, if me personally, everybody that knows me, I like to make builds based off of other people. That's what I do. Even if it's a random build I made, I make them look like an NBA player. That's just how I've always done it. That's what I want to do. Most of the time, if it has no correlation, you'll see my character. He looks like Ricky Rubio. Even though he's 6'8", I don't know why I've always had a fascination with that, but I just make him look like Ricky Rubio. And so the thing is if I want to make a Magic Johnson type build, I don't want to make him shooting guard. You see what I'm saying? So I understand where you're coming from, and I absolutely agree with you. I feel like what you're saying is 100% true, but I feel like if you do that, which they'll have to go down on their microtransactions on this for this, but I feel like if they do that, it should be if you go into Pro-Am, your build can be no taller than like 6'5" as a point guard. You see what I'm saying? Like put caps on it for the competitive side. But
I agree. I feel like Park can be like kind of no holds bar, and then everything else needs to be regulated. Like, sure, if you want to be able to like make a 6'8", 6'7", 6'9" at point guard, like you need to only be able to play Park with it. Is how I kind of feel about that. Because personally, I don't play Park anymore. In any other game that I get, I probably won't play Park. I'd rather play fives and rec, and I'm tired of seeing point guard through shooting a small forward being all 6'9". It's like what?
yeah,
There's no variation.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. Like for instance, me, I made my final build that I absolutely love at like I think he was like what a 6'6", something like everybody does a meta, and I just was going crazy with him. And then I got bored because I just felt like he was unfair. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just make like NBA player type builds that have flaws. And so I see what you're saying, and I feel like that's something they should definitely do if you go into like a Pro-Am or I guess even rec. There should be limitations on like your build could be no higher than this to do this. You see what I'm saying? Which I know, like I said, you're gonna have to go down on microtransactions for that, and 2K ain't gonna do that. Then the second thing you talked about was the rank system, and I agree with you on that. I feel like there should be, because at the end of the day, you could go all the way up to the top 10 and be completely trash. It's going to be hard, but I could go to top 10 right now and be completely trash. All you got to do is put time in the game and just keep playing them. You're going to get rep no matter what. It's just going to take a lot of time. So as far as that goes, the rep system is flawed because you don't have to be good at the game for it. It's just it goes faster if you're good at the game. The season pass, like he said, there's really no reason for the season pass other than, cosmetic things if you really want that and badge points, but that's just for certain people. And then the GOAT thing. I feel like they tried to do a whole ranked thing kind of with the GOAT thing, but it's like anybody can hit GOAT. That system right there is flawed because all it is wins and having your teammate grade at least at like a B+. If you have that, you can hit GOAT within like 7 games, maybe. Like it's and then if you lose one game, it goes down like almost a whole level, and it's just kind of flawed in that way. And I feel like they need to make it more levels instead of just all the way up to GOAT. It needs to go to like legend, blah blah blah, all this other stuff, and make it extremely hard to go up, but not extremely easy to go down. So that way, if you're playing against somebody, and not just about teammate grade, I feel like teammate grade should factor into it, but I feel like they need to add a thing, and I know other people have been saying this, as far as like loading in lobbies, they'll show you like points per game and stuff like that. There should be a thing, and I know it's going to suck for people that go against or that play zone, but there should be a thing as like points against, like your average, what people like score on you. So that way, and that needs to be added into the GOAT thing too.
I don't think so.
Why?
Because you can I can be playing center and I'm over here having to pick up because y'all can't guard y'all's man. I'm over here help side every time, and my dude's dropping 30 on me, shooting corner and wing threes.
Hey, that's when you just say, hey, at the end of the day, y'all gonna have to guard y'all's man. I'm sticking on my center.
But maybe that's how you play the game. You X out. I help. You supposed to help me.
Yeah, you're supposed to. And I agree with that. I'm just saying. Oh, my bad. I'm just saying. I feel like they could definitely tune up on that a little bit. The neighborhood, like he said, I don't really care much about the neighborhood. The walk into the thing, I feel like it was good for one game. I feel like you could just make it back to simple how it was when you go into the menu and you just buy clothes from the menu, because I don't really feel like spending 40 minutes walking around. The Halloween thing I think is pretty cool. You get a lot from it the past couple years. But as far as the game itself, I feel like it's a good game. I feel like people just give it hate because they're bad at it, or they don't have people to play with. And I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of people do that about a lot of games, but I feel like it's honestly hard to be good at 2K. Like, to actually, like, be good at 2K. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like it's the most challenging game like Valorant. I feel like it's way harder to be good at Valorant than it is 2K, but to actually be able to consistently score and consistently lock down your man every single game, you know, there's a lot of different timings you got to know to be able to green almost every jump shot. So I feel like that's a lot of people's problem right now. It's just a skill issue, and they complain, and I think that's AJ's problem. He can't score unless he's just catching shooting, and he complains that he don't get the ball, but when he gets the ball, he misses. So it's just like, at the end of the day, people just suck, and then they're just going to complain about the game. But 2K is a great game, and that's why I'm going to leave it.
All right, I guess we'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.